Welcome to Conviviendo, the show where we share stories for people who love community. My name is Jaden.
I'm Jose Morales.
We're with Convivir Colorado, and today we're with
Ousman Ba,
from
Uzi.
the African Leadership Group. What do you prefer, Ousman or Uzi, by the way?
I know, because I in my mind, you're Uzi.
Just say Uzi. Let's
Everybody-
go Uzi.
Okay, everybody say Uzi. Today we're diving into some stories with Uzi from the African Leadership Group. African Leadership Group. Are we okay to call it ALG, by the way?
ALG.
Sweet. ALG is a partner of Convivir Colorado. We both serve the immigrant community, and also Jose Morales, recent from our team, participated in ALG's public speaking program.
Yes, I did. I graduated this year, right?
Oh yeah, was it this year?
It's
It
been
was February.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
And-
like a really long time ago.
Wow.
Your video had like 300 views, by the way.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
I hope they like it. That was a
Um,
really hard topic, the one that I choose, though. It was
Oh,
very
powerful.
personal. The one I decided to go through.
yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
I did take it. It is actually in the deck, actually.
Awesome.
Okay, so our goal for today is to talk about finding your passions, belonging to a group, relating to the community, but also giving back and reconnecting with your community. Does that sound?
Perfect.
All right. Speaking of public speaking, I thought this was an interesting one again because Jose, you did the public speaking program, and you guys have served like 14 cohorts now.
15 now.
Damn,
15.
you
I was
14?
14.
He was
Yeah,
14?
I was 14. Yeah.
I watched the video from AOG's website where you guys were talking about how the reason why you launched the public speaking course was because there was a need, or you guys recognize that people were getting taken advantage of because not because of their skills or ability, but because they just didn't know how to talk.
Mhm.
So public speaking was a way of building confidence, that,
Mhm.
but particularly like knowing how to tell your own story, but also knowing how to pitch your ideas so that you're not getting taken advantage of, and you can just create the life that you want to live.
Mhm.
And I shared this framing in the last episode that we recorded with Asian Girls Ignite. Part of the reason why I'm really passionate about Convivir, but also what I'm seeing from the work from the African Leadership Group is that there's a really big there's this research that basically says that when you tell your own story, or particularly when immigrants tell their own story, particularly when they're proud of where they come from and they like wear their traditional garments, and they're eating their foods, it literally creates a feeling of safety within them,
Mhm.
and so that they're not hurting. Versus the alternative side where they come to America and they just assimilate out of fear. That actually creates more damage for them than just owning who they are.
Mhm.
So I think that's like a big thing, like this idea of coming to, obviously like we're here in America, but having the security and the confidence to know that like you can belong to your own culture because it is still your culture. Any thoughts about that before?
I mean, for me, just speaking of belonging and welcoming, growing up, especially being raised here in the Denver metro area, uh, I didn't have a community when I first arrived here. Uh, we moved. My family was moved all the way in northeast Denver. Um, but there was many African communities at that time, and especially growing up, I went to probably we were the only Africans at the school at the time, and then you'll come home and that's when I realized I'm African. But when I step out the house, I identify people are expecting me to be this American child, and just battling between those two identities. It wasn't until college that I realized and started accepting who I am and understanding my culture, my community, and that started because there was a Africans United organization on campus where I was able to connect with people that come from similar backgrounds, as you mentioned, that eat the same food, dress the same way, and understand the household we grew up in. And that's when I started making connections to my African roots. It's really not till college and understanding that I belong here as an African immigrant. So,
Nice. Uzi, where does your family hail from first?
yes, so I was originally born in Senegal, but my parents are Mauritanian in Senegal, because if you understand how colonial uh, powers impacted Africa, divided ethnic groups and tribes. So we were just in the bank of the river between Mauritania and Senegal. So basically, that's where my family originated. Is in the Futa area. Came here, immigrated here at the age of 6. And really, for us, is really just to get opportunities and understand that where I came from, we didn't have a lot of resources, and coming here as a refugee as well. So I came here as a refugee from Senegal, just seeking asylum here, and for us to have a better life and better opportunities, as you could call the American dream, and that's what really brought my family and my parents here, and from there, as I mentioned already, grew up. Here in Denver metro area, and went to elementary school here, navigating, having to learn a whole new language.
Mhm.
Coming here, I didn't speak a lick of English, but going through the system and just being able to learn and grow as well, and my family to be welcomed here. But yeah, that's really when my journey begins. Is from Senegal, West Africa. Came here at the age of 6.
I did not know that about you. Did you know that? I did not know that.
No.
What are some things that we say are important to your identity then?
For me, especially when I came here, growing up family oriented, coming with African families is really the foundation is built within the household. Just understanding the respect and appreciation for my parents, what they sacrificed and they gave up for us to be here. Family is one of the biggest things, and also our values as a family, just being respectful, being able to welcome people and the welcoming culture, and really, for me, is my willingness to know that, to strive for what my parents fought hard for me. That's always been the back of my mind. Is just making my family proud because I know we left thousands of family members, hundreds of family members
Dang.
back home. We were the ones that were providing, and we were the ones that were being. They call on for support, anything, because as we always say, it takes a village to raise a child. And for us, our family being here with the opportunities that we had to take care of the family that was back home as well. So that was really the key foundation of us is really supporting each other.
Dang. Um, so I am a second generation refugee.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents came here after the war, or
Mm-hmm.
after the Vietnam War,
Mm-hmm.
and then my mom was born here. My dad was actually born in Kentucky, weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
And I share a similar sentiment, even though I'm not a refugee myself. I was born here,
Mm-hmm.
like this. I don't know if you said it explicitly, but like this ownership and responsibility, and the need to like take care of the people that like our family
Mm-hmm.
really. Like our success isn't so much just like because we are ambitious and we want to do great things, but our success is almost on the line because we got people relying on
Exactly.
us. um I don't know, I wonder if that's like and honestly for me those are the kind of stories that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love following like internet personalities, because you could see how they're just trying to, some of them at least, when the work is not self-interested and it's about the wider community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes it more meaningful.
Exactly.
For me, I feel like coming here it changed a lot the family concept for me, which it can be good, I think, because it opens the way you see things. My family changed a lot when we moved here. I think having the process of flexibility and the communication with other cultures also give us, different views. So family for me now is it's a little bit different.
You still have the same like familial ties, or different in the sense of?
No, I would say we're really different. I mean, I don't feel like we keep a lot of tradition anymore.
Oh.
So I think that's a new way to open new doors for next generations too, because
Mm.
having the blending and intertwine can be something pretty cool.
And I think for me, that's where I need to open up for the next generation to come. Because for me, as I mentioned, we're immigrants, also a Muslim household.
Mm.
So everything was like centered around this family, a Muslim family, and that's what swayed a lot of my beliefs growing up. And it didn't take. It took me to college to really challenge certain things and values that my culture had. Because growing up, you learn to respect your parents, to listen to what your parents are saying, and not to challenge them. And then here I go off to college, and I'm learning about different views and different perspectives, and understanding how the world is viewed. And then now I'm having these conflicting ideologies and identities. So it was just really kind of a challenge. But at the end of the day, as you learn in your experiences and you grow, you begin to make your own choices and your own decisions. So,
That's a for like wait the you are first gen, right? Right.
first generation.
I think that's a very common thing with first generation people is that they have to figure out a way to like combine both
Yeah, bridge
cultures
that gap.
because
Yep.
like it's not about I don't think it's because even with the quote that we shared earlier, I don't think it's about being ashamed or like closing one off unless that person chooses so.
Mhm,
But I do think it's more often than not, especially because as you get older, you just experience more life.
mhm.
It's just like how do I figure out how to mesh these things together to make it almost my own.
Exactly.
Um, so speaking of like getting older, African Leadership Group has always what's kind of interesting is I didn't realize it's been running for like 17 years
Mhm,
now.
mhm.
How did you first hear about ALG?
So my first interaction with ALG was actually when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
So I was in high school. My uncle, who was close, who knew Papa Dia, the founder, the executive director of the African Leadership Group, brought me to Papa for me to really see someone that's in banking, that's in a high position,
Mm.
and that is leading the community. He brought me to introduce me to Papa and just learn about the African Leadership Group. At that time, it was a very small organization, but that's really when I started with ALG. And after I went off to college, I kind of kept touch and really from distance, just seeing what they were doing from social media aspect as well. And I was subscribed to their newsletters and would just hear things. That's been the great work that they were doing in the community. So that's really where it started from high school. And then I just from distance just loved the work that they were doing in the community.
Jose, yourself, how did you first hear about ALG?
Actually, Convivir kind of share the public speaking uh, class.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, I was not very like, I did not know much about it,
Mhm.
but I was like, why not to practice a little bit more of public speaking just because I felt like it was needed on the things that I do for my professional career. Um, and then I got into it, and I remember my first class, and I was like, I might stay here for a minute. But yeah, that was
Was
how I.
Uzi your teacher, or who
No, no,
who
no.
leads
We do
the
have a professor.
like a designated person for public speaking?
Yes,
Mhm.
there is a professor that teaches it. Yep.
Oh, got you, got you.
Mhm.
Nice.
He will change your life.
Is it the same?
The guy you just
What's his
depicted,
name again?
Professor Majama.
Majama, Professor Majama.
Mhm.
He's been doing it for
For a long time, probably
like the
6, 7 years now.
dang,
Yes, he's had 15 cohorts now.
because
So
he was an alum himself. No,
no,
oh,
he wasn't an alum. He was a teacher in the past, but he just Papa asked him. He was giving a speech once, I believe, and then we saw it, and then we wanted to bring him on.
nice.
He's been part of the family for a while
Dang,
too. So
6 years is a long time. That's half a decade.
yeah,
That's a decade
and
and
think
one
about
plus
it. He
one.
never asked for nothing. We didn't pay him for the first
Uh,
like probably four, 4 years. We didn't get funding for it, and he was just doing it for the love of the community and doing it.
Passion.
The passion, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
he basically we didn't pay him much, and he just show up and because he cared and the impact he was having. So
dang, that's what I'll be honest. It's those kind of stories, that particularly because like to live in this world is hard.
Mhm.
You need money. But to hear those stories, especially in the nonprofit world, of people who are so passionate that they will show up
Mhm.
for free and like basically like give and serve other people,
Mhm.
it's a powerful just a powerful thing. But also like the fact that you all have served 300 people and the person leading it was pretty much just volunteering the whole time
Mhm.
is pretty is really cool.
And my respect to the people who teach, because, like, for example, professors and teachers, they're like, they do really love what they do and helping people to learn. I mean, it's a really special job in this life.
Mhm. Wait, what is your technical? What would you say is your role within ALG? By the way, Uzi.
I say like a programs manager. I oversee many of the programs and coordinate many of the events as well. So I'll probably just say programs manager.
Really, when we opened up the podcast, you had mentioned how growing up in your household, it's an African household, but being in America, being outside, you're seen as just a Black American, or
Mhm.
not just as, but you're seen as a Black American.
Mhm.
When we were looking through the ALG YouTube channel, we saw, I think it was like ALG Weekly, the
Mhm.
videos, the weekly
Mhm.
videos you would do.
Mhm.
And there's one with Amadou, I
Mhm.
believe, and you were a producer of
Mhm.
of the show. And they were talking about, and it was the same thing because you
Exactly.
were, but you were. I'm assuming that was happening for you when you were in high school, so like
And
teenager.
yeah, and we that's why we have our youth program.
Yeah.
It really stems from that ideology of, as immigrants we come here, when we're in our household we're expected to, um, put this identity as, our parents have our expectations to treat us like, oh, this is, you're part of this culture, you're part of this identity, this is who you are. Like in our community, you're African when you
Yeah.
walk in the house. Oh, as soon as you walk out the door, this is what the school's saying, what society's saying. You're American, you have to adapt to this. This is what that culture's saying. And sometimes as a kid, you might have an identity crisis, or sometimes it's trying to figure out who you really are, because there's what the parents' expectations of you in the household as an African, and then you walk out those doors, and you're African, you're expected to be American. And sometimes you battle those two identities as you get older, especially high school, middle school. I felt that, and sometimes I pour that back to our kids. Like, or you go to school. Sometimes the food that's cooked in your household, is still lingering in your clothes sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, you smell like all this,"
Like spices.
Yeah, and so, or you might wear your African clothing. I used to
Yeah.
be embarrassed to wear my African clothing in school because people, it was different for everybody, and it took a while for me to accept like who I am and be proud to wear that African uh, bazin, or the African attire, because now it's something I'm proud to wear. It took a while for me to get there.
I think everyone goes through that process or
Hmm.
something pretty similar,
Hmm.
and it has a lot to do with how insecure we are at those ages, and like
Exactly.
Yeah.
other students will make sure that you're still like uncomfortable and insecure about it. But I think with time you start embracing, all the sides of who you are,
Mhm.
and you love. I mean, I feel very confident with all the sides that I have because again, yeah, you society try to put you in that box and try to fit in a specific identity,
Mhm.
but I think with time it's amazing how you embrace everything and you're proud of who you are. So yeah.
Exactly.
It almost sounds like the neither here nor there, or neri aquí, neri allá.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Um, very common. Like, is it? Would you? I guess like immigrant refugee trope. Just like you're never gonna be enough for anybody, or not even enough. But
Mhm.
like this again,
Like,
that
yeah, you're not too Mexican or too American or
yeah,
too,
Exactly.
and
When
then you,
you
yeah,
go to Africa, oh, you're
too
American now. You're
American,
too
yeah.
American. It's just like, okay, I be who I am, and that's what you got to accept.
it's almost like this constant struggle of just insecurity versus security. But nobody's ever fully. But I think as you get older,
Mhm.
and I know that you too, for example, work out. I think like for me, I bring that up because what I've learned by working out, like with my body, is when you just you build more self confidence, and you just realize like to the point you made earlier, like I am who I am. I'm not gonna try to fit into anybody's boxes. I'm just who I am.
But also I think putting in like public spaces, people like that, they're like not in a specific identity. it helps younger generations to make it easier.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at my time when I was in high school, it's still, I feel like it was still new, to see someone who has, that blend of cultures and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fit the, I don't know, the normal. I don't. It's not normal. I mean,
Like the
like the
status quo.
ordinary
Yeah.
figure. So I think seeing a little bit more in the spotlight, it
Mhm.
it helps to make it easier for younger generations to not go through a lot.
Now we gotta keep talking about it. That's what we have this.
Mhm.
Um, I like this question a lot actually. So McDonald's is known for its French fries or Big Mac.
Mhm.
What would you say the African Leadership Group is known for?
It's known for really providing resources and opportunities for immigrants, African immigrants. But especially in recent years, right now, we kind of pivoted to not just only focus on African immigrants, just open it up to everybody in the community that we welcome. We believe that no matter your race, your background, your origin, as soon as you walk through those doors, through our doors, you're part of the family,
Mhm.
and that's something we believe in. So we're very big on that. It's being the LG family is really just when you step through our doors, you're part of that LG family.
You guys predominantly operate within Aurora.
I say Aurora and Denver. Same population as well. I can't give you a number on that. It's really because there's a really big immigration population within Aurora. Also, Denver had influx of migrants come through. African migrants that have came through the border as well recently that we've been serving for the past year or so as well. So it's really anybody, you don't have to be Denver or Aurora. Anybody that walks into our doors is part of that family, and we're willing to serve them as well.
I hear the word serve a lot,
Mhm.
and like serving is not so much like I'm gonna choose who to help, but really it's like whoever walks through the door.
Mhm.
I'm gonna help you the best to the best of my ability.
Mhm.
On the website, I saw, um, I didn't know that Papa like worked at a bank for like 18 years,
Mhm.
which is he looks quite young. I don't know how old he is, but
Don't let that fool you. I don't know if you've seen him lately. He looked like Santa Claus. I'm just with the white beard and
Yeah.
everything. So, but
Oh, I did. I met him for the first time at
the
the
gala,
was it the gala? Yeah,
yeah,
the
because he
gala,
used to just save everything, and now he's actually letting that
letting
grow.
it
So,
grow. He said like I read in the website how like really AOG started because when he was working at the bank, African immigrants at the time would come to him for help
Mhm.
because he was himself an immigrant.
Mhm.
And he was doing such a great job that other people would be like, "Well, can you help me?"
Right?
But it got to the point where his work was like, "All right, man."
Are you
Basically,
working for the
there's
bank?
too many. Exactly.
Which is really interesting, but also shows get like it gives I guess context and like power to the fact that like for him he was really just trying to help people.
Exactly, and he didn't get funding to probably 2017.
2017.
Yeah, so most of it he didn't even know he was doing a nonprofit. So he was really just helping feed the needs of the community and trying to really provide that support at the time for the first like 16, 17 years, and really trying to bring communities together. Because a lot of times what people don't realize is the African community was really divided because you have the Ethiopian community, you have the Nigerian community, you have the Senegalese community, the Congolese. So everybody was in their own sects, and when ALG came around, ALG wanted to really bring everybody together. No matter what part of Africa you're from, what type of language or ethnicity, is really to just bring everybody together and realize the power we have when our voices come together. So that's really what Papa's vision was: is to bring all these different voices together as one and really just help each other out in the community.
It's nice.
That's a very powerful vision. I feel like Latin America is still very divided, though.
Mm,
I wish we had something pretty similar to unite everyone, because we also divide each other in Venezuela,
mm.
Mexico.
That's how African
We're
the African
different. We
community
speak
still is
Spanish,
still
guys,
they're
but
still
we're different. Yeah.
African is still some of the communities are still divided, especially some countries that are really divided by ethnicities. Here
Mm.
in the Denver metro area, there's a community that's really big population wise, but they're divided because of different ethnicities and things that happen back home that they still divide themselves.
Well, we need more like this
I
leadership groups. Yeah.
did you all watch the Olympics?
Hmm.
Um, I bring it up because there was actually a Cambodian artist. His name was Vanda or Vanda.
Hmm.
But I didn't know who he was, and I mean it's not the same. I say this with complete respect, but but I thought he was Thai at first.
Hmm.
But then I told to my friend that at the time, and he was like, "Oh, don't say that." I was like, "Why?" He said like Cambodians and Thais have like a history.
Wow. Yeah.
But like I bring this up for me, who I have Cambodian ancestry. But it's really interesting how like I don't think it's a ethnic thing. I think it's a human thing that
Mm.
even though like because from the grand scheme of things in America, they don't see. I know for like Asians, they don't see them as Cambodian or Thai. They see them as Asian. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But then within the actual community, there's still
Right.
the
Exactly.
specific sectors, which is
That's
um,
interesting.
I mean,
Exactly.
even at school, right? Like you have like I went to DSST. We are DSST students, but within DSST, there are the cool kids, there are the nerdy kids. You know,
Yeah.
It's all
um,
separate. Yeah.
that's so interesting. I wonder why we do that.
I
Human
know.
nature. Or it's not even human nature. It's just our past have created that
Yeah.
from
Mhm.
history. Divide and conquer mentality
Mhm.
is still prevalent.
So we brought up Jose. You graduated from cohort 14 of the public speaking class. Could you tell us like what did you learn? What did you take away? Maybe what was one of your favorite sessions?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. I think one of the biggest things that I can take it's facing fear
Mm.
because many things that really stop us is fear that we're scared of doing a lot of things, especially the ones that we feel passionate about. Um, and for me, public speaking, it's been always a big fear. But also, there's something that love hate relationship that I have with public speaking. And this class really helped me to kind of find peace in it, with it. And yeah, fear, I think also it makes me appreciate the people around me in a way that we all have challenges and we're all going through something, and that class really makes you think about that, not just public speaking as a skill, but also it's a way to improve your life in many aspects, and it surprised me a lot, to be honest, when I took the class. Yeah, learning from everyone, I think also it was pretty beautiful.
Because I follow you, so I saw like when you did the celebration or the end
The
Graduation.
graduation,
the
yeah.
graduation. So I seen the pictures, but I thought what was cool about the course is that you all ALG actually recorded every single speech, so you could see. It actually goes back pretty far, but at least for cohort 14, everybody's speech is on their YouTube channel.
And we do that uniquely for each individual one. Maybe they want to use it sometime for an event or use it as a resume or something like that. If you're getting a speaking engagements, just to know you could reference you've done this before. And yeah,
It's powerful. Usman, or Uzi, what are you most proud of as it relates to the public speaking program?
I mean, for me, I always say it's a joy for me to be in the class because I'm a sponge. We've had, as mentioned, over 300 people graduate from this class, and the knowledge that's been shared in that class, like man, it's so powerful. People with
Mhm.
so many different stories, different backgrounds, different experiences, and you get to sit there and just observe and learn. And the unique thing about this public speaking class is really like it's not your traditional way. You gotta go study, read this. It's really, hey, it's public speaking. You got to get up there and speak. That's the first thing Professor said is you got to feel comfortable on that stage. And you get it, you do it as often as you can, and you do it with people that are going to encourage you each time. So it's really powerful. And this I'm more of I've been doing the background work on the public speaking class, but for me, is I sit there every class. I get to observe some powerful
That's
speeches
good.
and witness some great people and see some of these people that are doing amazing things as well that's graduated. So it's really just building that connection and network as well as just seeing how someone could have started at the beginning and they could like literally be up there shaking with a paper trying to speak. And at the graduation, they're over here talking to about
Mhm.
50, 100 people, you know?
And
So,
recording.
and it's
Yeah.
recorded.
Yeah.
So it's just like you get to watch people ascend in their public speaking journey. So that was really some of the things I get out
You
of
can see the growth.
exactly.
You
Yep.
can. There's evidence of growth. Yeah, which it makes it pretty amazing to watch. Yeah.
That's what I like about people. I'm curious too, actually, Uzi. So this is your job, and you've been working at ALG for 5 years. You said, right?
About 5.
Um, you said you go to every single program, or every for at least for that.
Mhm.
Why? Like, this is like kind of a general question, but why are you? Why ALG for you? Why are you so? Because it is because you seem like you show up with energy at every single event as well.
I mean, for me, I like community. I've been in corporate America before as
Really?
Papa. I started in banking too.
Oh,
So really, the banking route, and then realize where my passion is really in the community. For LG, is like that's my community, and just see myself and the passion resides really with the youth. The work I do with the youth, from advocacy to mentorship, and to just watching them grow as well. And some of the people that you impact is really the stories and the people, you know, like you feel. For me, is like just knowing that you've made an impact at after over thousands of people we served. If I made an impact on one person, that does something to my spirit.
dang.
So
Okay.
it's really just seeing the growth, and really for me, it's a lot of work, but you when the results are in, it's worth it. You know,
Mhm.
when the results are in, when you see as we always mention, this impact, the impact that you are having, it's worth it. But yeah, I've been around. I don't know. It's been a great journey. So I enjoy the people I work with as well.
It's so interesting to hear these stories of people who will say like I did try corporate America. Um, there wasn't like but it just didn't like feed like it makes sense, but they almost always say like, it just didn't feed my soul.
Hmm.
But then when they start doing work like you, then you can see it's almost like rejuvenation within them.
Hmm.
They actually it's like it's actually worth it for them.
Hmm.
It's not just like collecting a paycheck. Um, I know when we talked on the phone, you mentioned that you all have or AOG has a home ownership program, and you actually benefited from that. Could you
Exactly.
walk us through? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we have a homeowners and financial committee. We have about 12 committees focused on our three core pillars, which is education impact, social impact, and economic impact. And really, the homeowners committees falls under the economic impact, and it's ran by amazing experts from all stepping all steps of the process for the home buying. We have bankers, lenders, credit experts as well, and they're really just focused on providing that 360 experience for our community members that are interested in buying and selling, or even just improving your credit. It's not just basic. It's not just about buying a home. It's really about how do you want to set yourself financially in
Mm.
terms of being here, because a lot of time as immigrants we come here. I don't know how other immigrants are, but a lot of African immigrants will build homes back home and think about building that, and not realizing they're really part of this society now, you know. And they always think about going back and doing this, but not understanding you could build here too, because we all think about how expensive, how hard it is to own a home.
Mhm.
For me, I didn't think it was possible. I was 27, 28, and really, I was like, man, I look at houses in Zillow, just like, what?
Yeah.
That's where do I have that in my
I feel
phone?
you.
Yeah.
It's, man,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, man,
It's a scary
it's
number.
scary, right? It's like people be like, "You gotta buy." I'm like, "How am I supposed to buy? I can't afford nothing. I can't even afford rent here in Denver anymore." So
Yeah.
really, I went. They asked me to come talk to them, so I went there. First thing I did was talk to a lender and learn about some ways to qualify, what I need to do for my credit, how much I need to make, my income and everything, and understanding where do I start, where am I at, where I need to be at, and what support I need to get there. I talked to credit, and we talked to realtors, and they really just gave me the general scope of what's the process look like. It looks scary, but once you sit down and talk to them, and they
Mhm.
walk by step process, you be like, oh, this really okay. Oh shoot, okay, this ain't, I got to do that. Oh,
It becomes more possible almost.
yeah, it becomes like the possibilities there, and that's how it started for me. And and I went through the process. We have realtors, Laura, and this Laura from Operation Hope. She's no longer there, but she's part of the committee that really helps with credit, because a lot of times we don't build our credit in our community. And she sits down with you and tells you what you need to do step by step. And you could call her at any time, and she works through the whole process with you. B Gonzalez, she does an amazing job. Really, she oversees the program for us. She works with BMO, and
Oh, the bank?
yeah.
Dang.
So she oversees. She's the chair of the committee, so
Yeah, yeah.
she brings in the realtors, the bankers. So we just not only focus with one bank. We work with different banks as
Yeah.
well. So we got great partnership with First Bank. We have Chase Bank. We have TBK. So many bank options. We don't just want to limit you to one options for lending. We want you to talk to everybody, as many as you can. We want you to feel comfortable making that decision. So it's really the process, and I went through it. I went through my credit. My credit was good. And then I went to the lending side, talked to them, see what grants are available. There's grants and opportunities available for our first generation, first time home buyers programs that are really out there that could help you get into home buying. Keep Denver expensive. I couldn't afford Denver. I
Mm.
really wanted to stay
It's
there. I'm
getting
like, I grew up
worse.
in Denver. I'm like, man, this house costs $500,000 too. I'm like, man. But I
Yeah.
settled for Aurora. It's a growing community as well, and I didn't settle. I actually like the neighborhood and everything like that. So it's just really trusting the process and being able to talk to people that you trust, because you build that relationship with those lenders, realtors, as well as the credit experts and the bankers, and you gotta do your due diligence and work with them and trust them and build that trust and really do your research as well. So it's a whole combination. And I was finally a homeowner. So
How long did that take though?
about a year and 2 years, almost.
And you basically like walked through the program.
Walked through it.
Mhm.
And it was I went through the First Bank one where they have a partnership with the Gary Foundation. With
The who?
the Gary
Oh,
Foundation has
Gary.
this program that like helps first time home buyers up to 40,000 in down payment assistance.
Dang.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that was really helped. And First Bank has another. I don't know if they still have that program that they give you up to $15,000 too. So, like I said, I didn't know that was possible. Like
Me
all these
too.
programs, I didn't know. I had to really work with the experts and understand, because we just look at it from the outside until we talk to somebody
Yeah.
that knows the process.
This is actually making me think of how one that's not like that process of buying a home, but like the program is not like easy necessarily.
Mhm.
But the punch, I think, what the through line is that I'm getting is when somebody wants something and they seek support,
Mhm.
people like ALG or ALG can help you
Mhm.
like make that goal happen. So if Uzi wants to like own his own home, but we're going to help Uzi to do that. It might take 2 years. It's not going to be easy, but
Yeah,
we're going to help like walk him through that.
and there's people that's been through that program that's less than a year that went through it and bought their home. So
Yeah.
it depends on
Is
where.
is there a specific story that you remember that not only in that program but like LG helped to change like their life?
Mm.
Oh yes, I really wanted to bring her here today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Effie, she's like where she started to where she's at right now is just powerful. She's done trusted our programs. She did the public speaking class, graduated from the public speaking class, did the leadership Africa class, graduated. Also did the entrepreneurship workshop we did, and she won the business pitch that we had. And then she was able to start her own business,
Mm.
and she's been very successful at it for the last year and a half. And she does a really wonderful job. She has a balloon decoration business, like it's booming, and she's been into spaces that she's just made us so proud of. And she's also went through the process of homeownership and a
Dang.
single mother that was able to become a homeowner. And
That's
really, her story
amazing.
is so powerful because she trusted the process and dedicated the time and commitment to it. And then look at the results and look
Yeah.
what she's able to do, the impact she's able to have, and the power she has right now, and really growing herself and her voice as well. I got her involved. We got her involved in the education space as well, and now she's about to be a keynote speaker at an education conference in
Ooh.
Minnesota
Dang.
next month. So not next in October, but really, just her story is just powerful. Her willingness to just try and
Mhm.
do, and really, her story is what we want everybody to have their own unique impact story as well. So, Effie, like I'm just so proud of her. Just see how she started from the public speaking class. So,
How old was Effie when she first started with with LG?
in her 30s, I know that
Okay,
she's in her
Okay.
30s.
so
Probably
your program
30s.
does span from like youth empowerment. So I'm assuming like middle school or high school to people who like 30.
So the oldest person to graduate from the public speaking class was 70 something.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
He was retired. He enjoyed it. He was a man. His name is Z Zareski. So he's one of those guys that just wanted to come and do it, and he did it. He comes and supports some of our events
Mhm.
sometimes.
Volunteers, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's no even the young. We have our youth program. The youngest is probably first grade or second grade. We
Yeah.
also have a tutoring program as well. So, um, all different age groups.
Just serving the community,
Yeah.
like through and through.
Yeah.
Uh, so my first ALG event was actually recently known about ALG just through the grapevine of community. Knew that that you all are serving the African community, African immigrant community. But I've never actually been to an event. Actually, that's my first time trying jollof rice, by the way,
Oh, okay.
which was like that was great.
That's
I was
wonderful.
quite hungry that day too. Anyways, um, Usman, you recruited me to serve as a table talk
Mhm.
leader. How do you typically recruit your friends or community members to join the ALG community?
Oh, it's really stems from what the community wants, the
Mm,
community needs. As we were planning really the education summit this year, we incorporated the parent engagement committee, and this the first time actually this year that no, I think we've done it in the past, but we haven't done it in a while where we had the kids' voice included as well. And we really wanted to see what are some of the prominent issues that are facing our students and our families. And the kids wanted to know what are resources are out there, what programs are out there, and also how do we prepare our kids for the future. Uh, what are we teaching our kids curriculum? What are the impacts of mental health in our school system? How could kids advocate for themselves? And those were some of the group discussions
mhm.
as well, and some of the things that the kids really wanted to touch base on. And we wanted to reach out to experts and community leaders and community organizations that are actually doing
Mm.
the work, and wanted to partner and see how we could support our youth and see how we could also partner as organizations in providing resources and services to our communities. And that's really where it stems from. And we wanted to invite all these organizations and really also hear from the leaders of the school. We invited a few leaders, and we wanted to see what their thoughts are. We invite leaders to come and listen because a lot of
Mm.
times you give them the platform,
You just
they
talk.
could yap about anything and all.
Mhm.
We wanted to
For
control the narrative,
hours.
and
Yeah.
have the community talk and community put their input before they could even speak.
Yeah.
That's good. Pure engagement with the community.
Hmm.
So everything was those topics were chosen by the community, and the idea was like, all right, so these are the topics that they want to hear about. So we're going to invite community leaders, partners to literally because what we did was just like,
Facilitate
yeah,
was, yep,
we all
that's right.
sat together, ate some food, great food,
Hmm.
and then just like talked about the topics,
Exactly. And we wanted to make it like a comfortable environment.
casual,
Yep.
almost, nothing too
No
crazy,
pressure.
nothing,
Not where
nothing
you
like
sit in the
complicated.
panel, you got to speak, and
Yeah. That's where I think change really happens too. It's not the complicated like jumping through multiple hoops, but just like come sit at the table.
Mhm.
If you're not at the table,
You're on the menu. And that's what we really believe in. That's really our code that we live by. We want to make sure that our community has a seat at every table and able to communicate as well. You can't just have a seat at the table and not say nothing, but also be able to use your voice. And that's what we use. We believe if you're a smart person in Senegal, if you're a smart person in
Yep.
Ethiopia, you're a smart person in Nigeria, you're still a smart person when you come to America. There might be a little language barrier,
Yep.
but we could help you get to that point where you're able to use your voice and be able to communicate. And that's what we've been doing is trying to really bring community leaders and put them in positions to win and really helping them running for school board, if that's being a board member of an organization, if that's just at your job that you want to be able to move up and really speak for yourself. And that's what we believe in is you got when you're at the table, use your voice.
it's powerful. Yeah, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. If you're
Yeah,
not at the table,
if
you're
you're
on the menu.
not on the table, you are on the menu.
How can someone support the African Leadership Group? Somebody who's passionate. Yeah, just anybody.
I mean, we're always looking for volunteers. One thing I'll
They have
say,
a lot of events. You guys
we
have a lot of
always
events.
have need. There's always a need for volunteers and really a support with programs as well. As we're starting our tutoring programs, we're gonna need some tutors. As and some of the programs that we are having and events, as you mentioned, we're gonna need people to come volunteer as well, and really just being able to show up and financially, you could always support a program or either donate that program that you feel like that you want to support. Many of our programs we do that free at no cost. So
For participants.
exactly,
Yeah.
and we ask them to pay it forward, which basically means is you bring somebody on or you tell somebody about your experience, and we believe in the power of stories and sharing our stories to impact community.
Hmm. Is there something specific about the African Leadership Group, the community, that you would like to promote?
I mean, for us, as we always say, don't let the name fool you. It's not only
Oh.
for Africans. We are trying to break barriers between all cultures and communities. I don't know. You did your research. If you were able to see that unity poem we did, you should definitely look into it. It's really just bringing all communities. We had the Hispanic community, the Native American, the Jewish community, the African American, and the African community, and many all these communities. We did a unity poem. It's kind of like we are the world, but
But ALG version.
an ALG version, basically. You should check it out. We did it at our gala last year, as well as really some of the events, and really just to promote unity and promote us being together, especially with the world as it is trying to divide all of us. And we want to bring everybody together, and that's what we try our best to do and really make sure that the community knows we're here, that we represent their voices, and that we're here to support them. And LG will always be a voice for those voiceless people, and always creating more voices in our community as well.
And they have a very welcoming environment. And I say from experience, because again, the word African might confuse you a little
Mhm.
bit, but also us as a maybe like me as a Latino, having that fearless step to really find help from someone who's willing to help you can change a lot. Having those um, limitless mindsets, that
Mhm.
they don't divide people. They really welcome everyone, and they really um, help you and try to make you better.
This is perfect. There you go. All right. So I have one. So the way we close out our show is one word or phrase or idea that you're taking away from the session. For me, I'm feeling inspired, particularly like I think just recognize. I think it's like almost this idea where, I know for me growing up, I was very quiet, very shy, um, didn't know too much, but like I think hearing the stories about the African Leadership Group, the work that you were doing, the work that Papa has been doing, just the work that the community has been doing, helping one another,
Mhm.
it reminds me how like the beauty of just coming together and giving back and just serving people,
Mhm.
not because like I have not because like I want to like gain something, but because I just want to help you succeed. This idea of service.
Before that, I also want to thank the community as well, especially my team. We're small. We call ourselves a small mighty team that's able to do this work and the times that we sacrifice from Mama Bear to Mukhtar, Brianna, and everybody in Papa's leadership and everybody in between, and just really being able to make this happen because it takes a lot of time and commitment as well. And thank you to both of you all and Convivir and the work you're doing. And I remember Tanya reached out to me, and we were able to get, as we talk about community voice, getting an Atois on the board there is really, that's where we want to put our community members in those different spaces and seeing how we could collaborate and work with other organizations as well. But thank you to both of you. Just one
Thank
word
you.
is really just community.
Mr.
Yeah.
Morales.
For me, it will be bridge. I think that the word makes me really connect with everyone and everything.
Mhm.
I think I'm done and tired of division
Yes.
from
Mhm.
everywhere. I
Mhm.
think we should stop putting barriers and stopping, that limits that divide us. So for me, it's bridge. It's the magic word for me today that connect everyone, and hopefully communities coming together can do a great change.
Nice. Well, that's all we got for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Uzi, for coming through. Thank you, Jose, for stepping in again. Catch you all next time.
Thank you. Bye.